Yeah, sure you are.
And we're live.
Miranda,
You're not that funny.
what was it you were just telling us about your book about the proportions of it?
Oh, but it's big and girthy. That came from my mom. She's like, it's and I'm like, oh yeah, sure.
Well, show us your big girthy member you got there. Oh yeah.
Look at my big girthy member. It's my third. It's the third one.
What's it called?
Just Breathe, but I think it might be backwards.
Nope.
No, it isn't. Oh, it's backwards for me. That's nice. Oh,
Although you did move your finger backwards, which was kind of funny.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah, there it is. Oh goodness gracious.
Well, welcome back to Spilling Ink, everybody. This is going to be kind of a crazy show. We've all got lots of stuff going on in our houses. So I'm not even at my house at the moment. So it's going to be a little bit wild.
You don't have a black and white poster above your head.
Well, we have our usual crew here tonight. We have, Katie, have you totally given up? You're not even Captain Trainwreck tonight?
Oh, my life is a train wreck. I'm definitely Captain Trainwreck. I guess I just must have forgot to put it on there.
Oh, we have the talented Katie Salidas. And then joining us for the first time in how many weeks has this been?
This is I missed 2 weeks, right? Yeah.
Okay.
2 weeks.
It seems like long. It seems like I haven't seen you in a month or two.
She missed 2 weeks, and then we missed 2 weeks.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So we saw each other in December.
Yes. Well, welcome
but January
back, Jane
has been
Taylor.
a horrible month.
Yes.
Yeah. December wasn't that
We
great
have all
either.
3 books out now.
Oh, wait. Jane's got to show off some books here a minute. Let's make this bigger. Too bad I can't zoom. Oh, those look good over there.
We need zoom and enhance. Where is that?
I can bring them over, but it's on my pretty clean neat shelf, so I was happy.
Joe's already giving me crap. There's nothing above me here. There's no other screen. It's just these super crazy bright lights. All right, and then our 2 guests. You know them, you love them. We have Miranda O and Jenna Greene. Welcome back, guys.
Hey.
Well, and as you could see when we were first talking, Miranda has a fat, girthy, hot new book out right now. Miranda, could you hold that up for us again?
Oh yeah, I can hold this up for you all
Yes.
day.
All right.
All day.
The third book in the Chin Up Tits Out series, so that's pretty exciting.
They say you're not supposed to pick favorite children since these are the only type of children I've given birth to. This is my favorite one.
Well, you have dogs too, don't you?
Oh yeah, that's like a 4. I categorize my children, I guess. That's like my 4-legged fur baby, and there's only one of her. So.
Yeah, the most recent book is always the favorite.
Yeah. I think that is it. Like, because the first book you ever produce and get out there, you're like, oh my god, I actually did it. And then you're like, the third one, you're like, oh my god, I can't believe the first one's out. The growth that happens in time is amazing. So yeah, it is my favorite.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to have it out.
What can readers expect from this book?
The happily ever after that is not in Disney movies. Like the flip side of Cinderella. So let's talk. And when we think about that, we think about like the whole team that helped Cinderella get ready for that. So it's like your team of people.
The mice and the birds?
Yeah, the mice and the birds and the boopity boppity boo. One of those. Fairy godmother. There it is, the word. So yeah, it's a continuation of Hadley's story, and after losing everything and kind of hitting rock bottom, it's how does one come through that with that chin up, tits out attitude. So yeah, I'm really, really happy that it's out and very excited to share it with people.
That is so cool. Well, and Jenna, how are you doing?
Surviving.
Yeah.
Perpetually surviving.
That's the name of the game right there.
Yeah.
Just
But-
finish report cards. Christmas is over. The
Oh.
long year that is January has come to an end.
Yeah.
We're
Okay.
good.
Well, are you working on any new books right now, or are you just focused on working on work right now?
Oh no, we're always writing. We're always working.
Okay.
So Reborn came out in January, and then the sequel is at the publishers right now, and then slowly just starting the third one. Not working too hard on it until I see what edits come back for the second one, because that's the worst thing in the world when you have to change like a massive plot thing. But we're creeping along. We'll just see what happens with the second one and when its release date will be.
No, you said Reborn came out in January?
Of last year, yeah.
Oh, I was just gonna say, man, I feel like I read this a long time ago.
A whole year ago, it came up in my Facebook memories, and I was like, "Oh, my baby's a year old."
I love Facebook memories. Like,
Oh.
they either remind you of how smart you were or how much you've actually grown since back then.
Or happy, or how happy you are. It isn't at that time.
Right? You're like, oh, let's just not share that one again.
Yes. It's like, oh, what was I thinking?
Well, I always forget about all those cool little snippets that the memories bring back, and I'm like, oh, this is great. I love them. They're wonderful.
I like all the memes that come up, and I'm like, I'm so funny.
Yes, because we wrote those memes. Well, now that we've spent an appropriate amount of time on each of you individually, we want to hear about the new podcast. That's what we really want, guys. Come on, tell us about the Quill and Ink podcast.
Quill and Ink is in the house. Yeah.
That's
Yes,
exactly what Joe
in the
says.
words of
Joe.
Joe Compton, yes.
I don't know who that guy is, but
I won't speak for both of us, but I will tell you that I am having an absolute blast with it. Like, I like talking, but it's really nice to listen too, you know. And like learn and meet everybody and dive right deep into what goes on in their heads as a writer, and that is making me a happy chappy man. I am thoroughly enjoying the podcast.
well, tell us more about it. Like, give us what happens during an episode. Like, tell us what do you guys talk about?
That's hard to say because we cover everything. I mean, we had a podcast with the Traveling Pens, and we were talking about like medieval toilet like structure.
Yeah,
I was like, okay.
Kafka had to do, and yeah, we talked, and then the next episode we talked about fear and psychology and like the psyche of the human mind, and like every episode covers vast topics, and like really anything that guest has that covered, we really want to dive into with them and get our listeners to know. Like, it's really cool to hear somebody wrote a book or created something, but it's really cool to be able to relate to that person, right? And I think that's what we really try to do during our time with our guests.
And they all are different. Like, we've had sci-fi, we've had paranormal, we've got coming up, we've got travel writers, like, and everything, and different, like, I kind of know how to write a little bit, like I'm getting better, but to hear what they do that I haven't thought of, I've got like 9 sayings I'm gonna like stitch on a pillow, and I'm like, right, and even just to hear all the different methods. Some people research for like 2 years, some people are like, research, what's that? And it's okay, and letting our viewers know that it's okay to be the person that writes 1 sentence a month or the person that writes 1 sentence a minute. It's all, it's all good.
Yeah, everybody's
how,
journey they're so different, and we like to depict that.
It's true. Everybody you talk to is going to have some different perspective, some different story, and it's amazing what they bring to the table.
Oh yeah, brilliant minds are out there, and they are kind souls and funny and relatable, and we get to hang out with them and share their stories a little bit with people. And I like that knowledge. So like Jenna said, like these things, these little golden nuggets that are coming out of our episodes. I'm like, man, I gotta put this somewhere, write it on a wall, or paint it on my wall or in my journal and reread them every morning. It's like motivation.
And it's pretty interesting. Some things they'll say, I'm like, yeah, I'm doing that. She agrees or he agrees. I'm doing something right. And then other times they're like, we do this. I'm like, I have never tried that.
I think that's the beauty of talking to authors is you've met your people. They're truly your people.
And it's like it's intellectually stimulating. My mind just goes for hours after the conversation. It's an expansion of my knowledge, and it's an expansion of my mind every single time we talk to an author. And it's like I just have so much fun. My cheeks hurt so much from smiling at the end of the
episode. Oh, that's a good show then.
We film in 2 different time zones, so after we film, Miranda just goes right to bed because she's done. But I'm motivated, so if I don't have to pick up my daughter, I'll sit down and get some writing done. I'm like, yeah, they did it. Woo.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, guys, I'm plugging the computer in. I'm letting the recording render. Like, I need my viewer. Thank you very much.
I haven't seen the traveling pens. I actually don't know what that is. Can you tell me what that is?
Oh, yeah. So that's 3 authors that are author besties. Like it was just, so there's 3 of them that filmed all together, then the 2 of us. So 5 women all talking about writing. It was.
Oh, is that Tosca Lee's group?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I do know who you're talking about.
And
okay.
Nicole, right?
Yeah. Kimberly, Nicole, and
Tosca.
And Tosca, yeah. And they were all at Tosca's house because they were planning the alchemy writing retreat together. And so we got to dive into that a little bit, and then we dove into research. That's how we got onto the topic of like medieval public toilets.
Yeah.
And all those women, it was so relatable. They're like, writing is such a solitary hobby, task, job, career thing to do, but it doesn't necessarily need to be a solitary thing to do or an activity. And so those 3 women are bringing it together and kind of trying to explore, group writing and all the fun stuff that comes from that.
Yeah, I bet that was a ton of fun.
It was so
really was.
fun. I think I was crying laughing at one point.
Look at we've got lots of comments over here on the site already, Katie.
Yes.
But fur babies, book babies, and human babies, yeah, they're all our babies. You're right. Yeah. Speaking of fur babies, come here, Nixie, come.
I like watching Jason's feed because it's always a multitude of like, what animal is going to be in today's stuff?
Yeah.
Aww, who's that little guy?
This is Nixie. I'm at my brother-in-law's house right now. We're going to be doing some dog sitting, so we're just hanging out here for Abby's 18th birthday party because they have a big theater downstairs. And,
nice.
But we love these guys. These are our little buddies. So as you can see, she's very, very photogenic too.
And snuggly.
Yes, the snuggles. He's like, put me down. He's not licking your face. He's like, put me down.
She was on her little dog bed over there. She's like, what the heck, man? That's not cool.
That's my day.
But like fur babies are like the only ones that you can smush up in their faces for their entire lives and they never get sick of it. Like human babies don't like that when they're older. I have nephews and they're like, please don't do that. And I'm like, come on, lovely.
No?
Katie, I think something broke at your house.
Yeah, that's okay. I got the teenager on it back there. I hear her yelling at them for me.
That's why she has the earphones on.
That's right. That's right. She's like, I can't hear anything.
Not listening. La la la.
I don't have to deal with it.
Denial.
We've been like packing a lot of stuff up in the house, so there's not much to break right now.
Okay.
I have a 3-year-old. I can get her over there to test that.
I right now have 9 kids in my house, so yeah, I've got plenty. We're babysitting tonight, so.
Jenna, what are you writing right now?
Sorry?
What are you writing right now? What are you working on?
Just the sequels that I was mentioning, and occasionally trying to write a short story. It's really interesting. People think that if you're a writer, you can write anything. I'm like, no. I tried for like 10 years to be a poet, and they were like, you're too wordy. It's too prosy. I was like, I'm a novelist. But I can't. Short stories, they're like, I'm like, 10,000 words. That's like 2 chapters. I can't. So, I don't know. I just bang my head against the wall a lot with that. Go back to the books. Try to write more novels. Can't even write standalones. They're all series.
I'm with you as well. I don't know if I could do a standalone story.
But you know what? You write what you write. Everyone has to write from their perspective, their style. You can't force yourself to write another style that doesn't mesh with yours.
Yes.
I mean, I'm trying, and I may get better, but I'm also quite realistic about it that this might not be. I've given up on poetry. I'm like Miranda. We're talkers. We're wordy.
It's too where I'm a huge wordy person, like too much words. I'm trying to write. I have this joke in my head for my book launch party at the end of February, and I can't get it out to say it in a stand-up comedy type way because there's too many words. I have like 27 days to sort it out. So
All right, well, test it on us. Let's see what it is.
Yeah,
no,
let's hear
see,
the
I don't
joke.
have. Oh, see, it's not. I don't. It's the concept of the joke. I'm not that good. I'm not that there yet. I'm not that there yet, guys.
All right, so you've got about 40 minutes to come up with the rest of it so that you can tell us.
If you see my head down, it's because I'm trying to write it out.
That's going to be the show closer.
Worry. I am going to go live for my book launch. So if you are not in Winnipeg or within the vicinity, you can watch that. That's my goal, is to get that open to kick butt.
No, Jen. Well, somebody must be, another party goer must be coming in. We'll get them coming in here shortly. Let's see who's here.
They want to write. They want to be part of the conversation.
They do. They
Adding
do.
their input.
Yeah. Well, I think that look at, here she comes. Come right in, Bridget. How's it going? Hello, world. This is Bridget. That's Abby's friend. She's late.
Oh, happy birthday to Abby too.
Yeah, huge happy birthday to Abby. She's 18 now, right?
She is.
She's
Yep.
legal up in Canada.
Yep. Oh, yeah. She's not legal for anything here. It's a bummer for her.
She's 21 now.
Yeah.
I live an hour from the border, and so many people drive up. Lethbridge is the first big town. And they hit the bars, and they're like, woo!
Yep.
We have a university in North Dakota that's like 40 minutes from the border. So everybody turns 18 will come up to Winnipeg and to the south end of the city, and it's just crazy town. It's crazy town.
Those are my brother-in-law's puppies, Rebecca. And before I forget, that's right, Joe. She can vote.
Yeah.
Thankfully, we need as many young voters as we can get.
Please, yes.
But Jenna, I was going to ask you, and you may have already answered this, but like I said, it's kind of crazy over here. Did you say that you already released book 2, or is it still coming up?
I sent it to my publisher December 23rd. So I don't think he read it then. So he's probably just reading it right now, and then we'll get all the whole process going.
Are
and
you going to...
find release dates and things, do final edits.
Okay.
I'm pretty good at editing, and I have Tasia Morgan that helps me out a lot. So there hopefully won't be too many edits, but I think Miranda wasn't in our last podcast where we talked about editing and editors and how we like love editors and we respect editing, but we hate editing. When it's like that double-edged sword where we're like, it's so important, and I really don't want to do it.
Oh yeah. I think it was one of our last episodes, and it's so true. I deal with this in my day job as well. As we write or we create, and then we edit. And the first few times you get that edit back, you're like, oh my god, it's a stab to the heart.
It's all red.
It's like you hate me. I'm a useless person, and they're like, no, don't take it personally. I'm just refining. And then you move and you grow, and then you start to learn. The more people, the more eyes that refine your writing, just refine your story. They're not changing your writing. They're just refining how it sounds and how it rolls off the tongue, or when the eyes read the words.
And you do get better.
Yeah, you do get better, and the edits get easier, and those little side comments from your editor that's like highlights a whole paragraph, and it's like, what is this?
I think the first book that I ever got edited, it was like, okay, they like the word "the" on page 13. That's good. I'm gonna go cry and then drink and then cry some more. But yeah, now it's only like half read, or it's, hey, they liked a few words on page 4. And I have a really nice editor, and she'll give me comments like, I love this part, or this made me laugh, and that makes me feel good. And then she's like, now change all of chapter 9. Okay.
See, now that's good though, when they can deliver the soft,
Yeah.
This is your list of bad things, but hey, I like this and I like that. Even if it's just, I laughed at this line. That sometimes softens the blow of all the other red ink above it.
Yeah. It should be like editor / opinionator. Like, I want your opinion about my story too. Maybe.
I can't promote my editor enough. Her name's Tasia, and she's taught me so much. She'll like send me links like, this is the reason why it shouldn't be there. And then I had to go research Chekhov's gun, and I was like, oh, I'm learning a lot.
That's
class.
Good. That's really good that your editor gives you that extra information too, because it is a learning process. And if you do learn whatever it is that they're telling you to fix, next time you won't make that same mistake, and they'll be able to move through your edits faster.
Yeah, and it does. She does, and it's And I went to university. I have 2 bachelor's degrees. I have an English degree. I have an ed degree. No one told me how to write. They told me how to read and teach literature. That whole writing thing, that's all self-taught. So you know what happens when you're the teacher? You're an idiot. So I need a lot of help. But I'm getting better. My last book won an award. So I don't suck as much as I used to.
Grammar rules aren't as hard and fast as we think they are, and there's different styles too of editing. You've got your MLA, you've got your Chicago style, and depending on which editor learned
Oxford
what style,
comma for the win.
Absolutely. You can get different notes from different editors.
Yeah.
But I teach my students, you have to know the rules before you can break them, so you know what you're breaking and why.
Absolutely.
And not just sounding like an idiot.
Hey, Jenna. You, in Reborn, you had a lot of kind of deeper or overarching kind of societal issues that were going on that we really didn't have a chance to delve into with Reborn. It feels like there's a lot more that needed to be said about them. Are you going to be able to get more into them in book 2?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
In it's a dystopian society, and our main character is sold into slavery, like chapter 1, and there's prejudice, there's abuse, and it's really just the first book is deep, but she's just trying to save herself and save others and get out of there.
Yeah, focus
book 2
on her story.
Yeah. And I mean, it'll still be Lexel's story.
Mhm.
She's still the protagonist. We still love her, but now it's more, what can we do to change? Book 2 and 3 are very connected, and that's probably why I'm writing them just side by side without taking the normal break in the middle that I usually do. I'm just going to power through and write both of them and figure out what we can do to fix some of this stuff that's going on in this society and not just survive it.
Mm-hmm.
And add more levels and layers and new characters. I'm trying to find out what returning characters people want. See if anyone has an opinion, because we can always work that in there.
Well, who was left on the farm? I think of it as a tobacco farm. Kita. Okay. Yes. Yes. I would like to see more of her.
That's a real struggle for Lexel, because she knows she left her behind. So Lexel's safe, but at the expense of someone else that sacrificed himself. So that eats at her, and that's a big motivation in book 2.
Yes.
That really sets a lot of stuff in motion.
She's gonna bust her out, and together they take down the whole system.
Yes, but busting her out ain't gonna be as easy as you think.
Well, I'd be disappointed if it was easy.
Book 2, 1 sentence. Found her, all good.
Oh, wouldn't that be horrible? Just sandwich that into a bunch of like pages, blank pages, right in the middle. It's all good. The end.
All good.
Found her. We got her.
Picture of a thumbs up sign. Yep, we're good.
The emoji ending.
Well, you two up there are other partners. You're not, well, I guess you are podcasting partners, but you're also writing partners. What's going on with the writing? Who are you talking to?
Me?
Yeah.
Come. My son. Hold on, he's getting a root beer.
This is the special guest episode.
My other co-author from when he was 13. He's now 20. This is William.
Wow. Hi, William.
Hi.
How's it
How are
going?
you?
We gotta zoom in close here. Here we go.
And he's drinking root beer, not beer.
No.
But he looks
I
like
wouldn't tell.
He looks like he's 25.
Okay, he's 20.
Everyone in my school looks older than me.
Must be something in the water or something.
But he
like
came
that.
in, I'm like, you're a writer. Come talk about your writing process.
Well, it's working on right now, but it's not easy.
No.
The whole writing process. Right now, I'm in the middle of writing a novel in which it's building, not only a world that is 10 years in the future that I'm trying to think of, but a world in which you're introducing all these characters that are extremely strong. Yeah, and I got to think about, 1, how are they going to fight and not break the world? 2, who am I going to base these characters around? Because it's never easy to base a character off of just thin air. So I have to kind of take in personalities from people I know and myself and throw them into this character who doesn't have emotions, and that's probably the toughest part about writing this current book, is that the main character doesn't feel like everyone else. He doesn't have the emotion. He's got to regain it somehow. So that's something impossible to bring out.
What type of book is
it? He's got my mind.
This is a fantasy, comedy, and drama all mixed in one.
Awesome.
So it's
awesome.
It's definitely something interesting. I'm looking forward to doing it. And following the adventure of how he gets all these emotions back, and how I'm going to introduce characters without him killing them, basically, because that was all he did for several years, is just constantly kill.
Yes.
That's what you get when you have an immortal vampire king that is unkillable and no longer has emotions.
There we go. Vampire kings. No emotions.
Well, she posed a good question, because when I was bringing it up, I had this character I wanted to shape out, but I had this character that I also wanted to go onto a journey where it's no longer about being a king or ruling over people, but about getting his emotions back. And the tough part was I didn't have the emotions part to begin with, because how do you build a book around a character that's unbeatable?
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be a few pages where it's just, here's this guy I have in a world where no one can match up to him, and there's no adventure that's going on because he's already done everything that he wants to do. So that's definitely the toughest part about it.
Maybe flip it, because he's lonely now. He's done everything. He can't relate to anybody, but maybe there's a loneliness that people can relate to.
And that's what she brought up is, and that's what made me go to thinking, this guy's been alone all this time, and whenever someone's threatened him, he's basically got rid of them. So either he's lonely or he just abandoned all emotions, because whenever he got them, it would just bite him in the butt. And that's what led me to this idea that now I have this character who, instead of making an adventure of becoming king of whatever or whatever he wants to do, he's already done everything, and now he's got to find a way to get everything he's lost on the way back. So I'm looking forward to it.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah.
I agree with what Joe said.
Yeah.
Over here, Joe says, you have to give him a weakness somehow, some way that will increase the depth of soul and emotion. And
that's basically what I had said, because you can't be unbeatable all the book.
Yeah. And that's what I had the surprises. The first two are going to be following him on the emotions of anger and sorrow, because in the first book he finds this person that reignites some emotion, and I make you think it's going to be the big love story, and then towards the end she gets killed in front of him. Yeah. So this emotion of anger will come back. The next book will be dealing with sorrow, and I'm going to slowly introduce these characters that he becomes closer to, that almost seem equal to him.
Well, and then the weakness doesn't have to be like you don't have to think of it like a literal kryptonite type situation, but it can be, you said that, someone that he loved was killed. Yes, Joe, I just said kryptonite. Come on, man. Bye, guys. Love you.
Yeah.
But so someone he loved very much was killed, right? You just said.
And
so perhaps it's the memory of that's actually the weakness. Perhaps somehow somebody's able to bring that back, and that's what.
And I can't spoil it, but the first book gets you thinking some things, and then later on you start to realize what's really going on. And when I was speaking to one of my friends about it, because he's a very critical person, and that's why I went to him.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And villains are boring. They have to have a weakness. Oh, yeah, keep going, sorry.
But when I was talking to my friend, and I was giving him, because I have an outline, and I was going through that outline with him, and I told him what happens in the third and fourth book, and he dropped jaw to drop, because he wasn't expecting any of it. He was reading the idea that I had for the first book, and he saw all this progression. And then in the third and fourth book, he just saw this bomb that dropped. And all of a sudden, everything that's going on is flipped on its head. And it's who's good, who's bad, and how are they going to possibly end everything that's ever existed.
I like to have characters where their strength and their weakness are the same thing. Oh, yeah. So in my Imagine series, we've got Kat. Oh, and she's got a bit of a temper, and she's rash, and she's bold. And at times, that's great. And at other times, oh my God, she's being rash and she's being bold. Oh my God. In Reborn, we have Lexel, who's very caring and comforting and giving and accepting. And then at other times, oh gosh.
Look at my kid's here too. It's not just you, Jane.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
They're all saying happy birthday. She can't hear you.
Oh. I'll sign it.
Oh, look at that.
All right, sorry, Jen. I completely disrespected you by cutting you off like that.
Oh. I'm a mother and a teacher. I got interrupted.
I got to tell you, I wasn't always like this. It was not until 3 years ago when I first met Katie Solitis that I became this way. I'm a bad seed now. I'm just a bad seed. No, but keep going with what you were telling us. You were saying
your character.
Just that with a lot of my characters, the strength and the weakness are the same.
Mm-hmm.
You got little Becky in the Imagine series, who's extremely imaginative and creative, and naive and innocent. And then that's a good thing in some situations, and it is a bad thing in other situations. So that's how I like to kind of and that's more realistic. Miranda and I are both kooky and funny, and in some situations that's great, and in other situations,
no, you're totally right. You're totally right. My characters are the same way, except the positivity is the double-edged sword. Nobody takes somebody with a smile on their face seriously when they're mad. So I'm very, 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 very mad at you.
It's like a 5-year-old yelling at you.
Oh, yeah, exactly. I deal with that in my life, and they're like, "Are you seriously mad?" I'm like, "Yes, I am. I know I don't look mad right now, but like, you gotta just take me seriously."
So I am furious.
Right, exactly. I'm furious. But then how many people have told me, "Oh my goodness, you are just so positive all the time." I'm like, have you ever tried to cry with a smile on your face? Like, that is not easy.
I can picture you doing that. Like, yes.
I do it all the time.
It's just great, guys. It's great.
I call that face leaking. It's not crying, okay?
Okay.
Well, I like to, I try to be ambitious about things, and I try to start new projects and do different stuff. And then I find that I've started so many projects that I can't handle all the projects I've started, and then everything crumbles. So it's kind of like that. I always thought that was a strength, wanting to do stuff and be inventive and things like that. But then turns out that's also a weakness for me. Definitely not my greatest weakness, though. I guess if I was going to say what my greatest strength and weakness is, it'd be depression. I think altogether, that's my greatest strength and weakness.
Yeah, I can second you on that 150%.
Because I'm really good at doing it. But it doesn't feel good.
I call my anxiety my superpower.
Yeah,
yes,
man.
Yes.
It makes you in tune. Like, if you have a mental illness and you've learned and you've figured it out and you can kind of manage it, it is a power, because when things start to tip, the balance starts to tip in your life, we're the first people that catch on to that. Yeah. It's the people that haven't figured out that there's something that will tip way over before they realize that. So I second you on that, Jason. Like, right. Yeah. It's a huge strength. I mean, does it suck? Yeah. Does it make life more difficult? Maybe. It makes it more adventurous, but you are 150% more in tune with yourself, and not a lot of people are unless they have. And that's
Miranda, dude, you're just the best, hon. You really are. We love you. God. Okay, now it's time to hear from William or Richard.
Yeah, William. I gotta say, everyone's greatest weakness and strength has to be their brain in general. It's such a complex thing, and it makes you feel so many things at the same time. But what I've noticed is, in our family, Mom and I have very, very creative minds when it comes down to it.
Oh, it's Mom.
And my sister and Dad have very analytical minds. But it also comes down to how you deal with certain things. Like, I know for me, whenever I'm put in a really tough spot, say 3 years ago when I got hit by the car, like, it sucked, didn't feel good, it was painful, and after put me in a really bad spot because of school going down and everything. But also came into how am I gonna spin that? In my head, it was like, well, it sucks, but hey, this would be fun to write about because now I know how it feels. And I can describe everything down to the bone breaking, down to hitting the ground, and it really comes down to if you're gonna let the emotions get to you in a straightforward way, or for authors and anyone who likes to write and anyone who writes, whether it's full-on novels, short stories, whether it's just cartoons in their bedroom, whether it's drawing, if you can take that pain, that sorrow, or those emotions that you feel in any specific situation and turn it into something that's good. So like for me, if I feel something, that's an experience for me. I can now use that in whatever I choose to write, because I prefer to write over everything. That's what, and I feel like A lot of authors do that. It's not just, building a world, throwing people in it, and then putting a bunch of words, which is a really big misconception that it's a lot tougher to write a book than it is to write a history book or something like that, simply because a novel is building a world that didn't exist prior. You can go based off the house down the street, but then you have to think about, okay, well, I decided my character wants to live in the super modern house that doesn't fit in the place that I live in. So maybe I want to shift the neighborhood I'm in and go with something that I've never been to before. Like, I know you do a lot of places in Connecticut and Maine that you've been to. But
I've done some that I've never been to.
Yeah, but if you were to do California and stuff, that would require you.
Well, California is not sure because I've been there.
Okay. Well, if you were to bring it to a place that you haven't been, you have to.
Timbuktu. That's a real place.
Yeah.
Like for me, I want to do California. I haven't been there. I don't know how the roads are. I don't know how the buildings are. I grew up in a place where a really small town, not a lot of buildings back to back. So now I have to do all this research to figure out, oh, hey, do they have one-way streets? If they do, how crappy are they?
No, that's Boston.
California has them too.
Yeah.
But
I did a car chase scene in Atlanta, Georgia, having never driven through Atlanta, Georgia, just using Google Maps, and I have no idea how authentic it's going to be.
I love you. Google Maps is great. I love it.
Yeah.
It still requires
Google Maps is the best. It's the best.
Google Maps is great until it tells you that you have a nice full ride and then someone gets into an accident and now you're sitting on the highway for another hour. Google Maps is really misleading when it comes down to traffic patterns. So.
Well, I'll tell you what, the things that is it Richard or William?
William.
Why can't I remember this?
For the 16th time in 10
That's like
minutes.
holding up a sign or something.
Well, you look. Well, I keep telling myself it's a king's name. It's a king's name.
That's the first time she's called me Will. They all call me Billy.
All right, so King William. See, it seems like your words are really resonating with people. We're getting a lot of comments about the human brain and how important that is to writing and how it can be our greatest strength and weakness. So
And the rest of the writing process, if it ain't the brain, it's the heart.
Oh,
yeah.
That's where the rest of it comes.
I don't have one of those though, so I rely on the brain.
Yeah, my heart's pretty like black iced and over like.
Dorothy, find the wizard, borrow one. And...
Click your heels 3 times.
Well,
Bippity boppity boo.
I want to give you guys a book recommendation, and this is a book that I'm not finished with. I'm going to tell you that right now. My wife has read it. She was pretty blown away, and I'm about 20% into it. And it is, it's unlike anything I've read before. This is, I can't even describe the writing that well. It's a drama. It's like early American drama, like Pioneer Days type thing, Americana. And it's the title is One for the Blackbird, One for the Crow, and this is by Olivia Hawker. I've never read anything else by her, but the writing is so beautiful. It's mind-blowing. Every sentence you read, you're like, oh my God.
Why didn't I think of that? Yeah.
Well, and it's like, what am I even doing writing? This is writing right here.
Right.
So if you ever have the opportunity to pick it up from the library, One for the Blackbird, One for the Crow, it is just absolutely stunning writing. It's like reading poetry, only it's a novel. It's just unbelievable. But so I know that was way off topic, but I was just like, I really wanted to mention that book tonight because even these first few chapters have left such an impression on me. Just absolutely beautiful. In reading that, I feel like is almost like taking another course on writing. It's like, wow, I feel like I'm actually learning something here, not just enjoying it. So
are you dissecting it? First time through, you're going to read it. The second time through, you've got to figure out what makes it so incredible. Not just,
Well, and at
and
this
try
point,
to tap into that. It's really hard.
it is. Well, and I'm already kind of doing that. I've been rereading a few of these chapters and trying to figure out how she's doing it, but it's just like there's nothing that just comes out and smacks me as, oh, that's what's happening. It's just she's just that damn good, and I'm like, man. I mean, it's really impressive. So anyhow, that's, I mean, if you wanna feel bad about your own writing, pick up that book and read it.
It's in the early days, right? Where, like almost like colonial times. You're saying, right?
This is, I think it's just after the push west.
Okay.
So, and I've got her page pulled up, but
You have us still got there.
I'll tell you what. Let me go find it on Amazon a minute, and that way I can read you the description. Oh yeah, type in one, and it's the first thing that pops up.
Any book that's in old times or in future times where civilizations have gone down, I think you have the most freedom to just write and let your imagination go wild. And some of the things that you come up with, some of the things that you can write are just out of this world.
Well, and I don't know if you're aware of it, but our history on my side, we were in the wagon trains.
Yeah, you've told me.
Yeah. So it would be really interesting to read that.
Well, and it looks like this is later on in our history than I thought, because it says Wyoming 1876. So this is a little bit later on, but very, very rural. It's kind of, two households that live next to each other. There's all sorts of cool drama and intrigue, but yeah, it's pretty amazing writing. So I definitely recommend it. And I might get through to the end and absolutely hate the end. So I can't say anything about that, but so far it's pretty incredible. But
it's always the ending that snags you. It's in the beginning, and the whole book can bring you through, and then those last few pages and chapters are what makes you go, do I love this or do I hate it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Stop it, Derek. If I want to feel like an imposter, I will.
That's towards our Martin.
No, that's you. You killed off my favorite character.
Who'd you kill?
I've read your books. I've cried myself.
What? You read her books?
Yes, I do.
Oh my God.
Whenever they come out, I want to read them and judge them, because she's only going to be judging me whenever she reads my writing. So,
wow,
totally fair, right?
You've got a good son there, King.
My
Richard
husband
William.
reads the titles.
I just said that's what my wife does.
Reads everything that I've written except for the first book. So
I also love reading and getting a taste of everything. And I think a lot of people in my generation have lost that because of TV and all these other things. But to me, I used to love sitting down reading 200-300-page novels at this whole new world. Like I believe the first series that I truly fell in love with was Rot and Ruin by Jonathan Mayberry.
Yep.
And that series.
Who's
He's
that?
coming on in a few weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't wait to talk to him.
Yep.
And,
So you've got this really cool kind of hipster Amish vibe going on here. I like this a lot. It's good. I got to ask you because I know your mom. Mommy, can we say mommy? Do you say mommy?
Yeah, I say mom.
Oh, all right, mom, fine.
Mommy dearest.
How is it when you're reading one of mommy's books and there's some naughty stuff in there?
I mean, I think it's the same when she reads the stuff I write. It's uncomfortable, but it's also it's also
Nice.
it's just the way things. I'm gonna read someone else who has the same naughty stuff in their book, and I'm not gonna bat an eye about it.
But it's different.
Reading their book doesn't mean I'm gonna have the same. Yeah, I'm gonna wonder how the hell she knows how.
Shane, what have you been
She's gonna read my book and go, no, you're still my innocent 10-year-old boy that doesn't know how anything works. I think it's fair. It's definitely a little bit awkward. In the moment, I like to think someone else wrote it. That's why when she goes by her J.E. Taylor, I love it, because I'm like, I'm just gonna pretend this is a different person. This is not my mom. My mother has a different last name. I'm okay. The initials seem familiar to me, but somewhat different.
Oh, that's too funny.
When we were writing the
Death
the Death Chronicles, there was a scene in it where the character kissed his girlfriend, and I asked him, he's what, 13 at the time. I'm like, so what did he experience? How did he feel with that? The 13-year-old, I'm like, we've got to write it. So
Well, then
you've got to really dig into it. And it's like,
I explained it to you.
yes, you did, but it took a little while, and you turned like 50 shades of red.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry, but when your mother goes, hey, how's it like kissing that person? You got to tell me. Give me the details. And you're 13 years old, and the whole time you've been thinking, how do you shouldn't know I do that. Kissing's not okay. Kissing is terrible.
Awkward.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff.
But you have to appreciate the relationship that you have with your mom. Like that, like I have a very similar relationship with my mom. I went on a date last night, and you best know it that she called me this morning and was like, so did he leave this morning? I'm like, no. No. But that relationship that you can read your mom's book and she can read your book, and there's not any animosity or anger or shame is so big, and something that you both should cherish. Like I know when I share my books and people are like, oh my gosh, like you share this with the world, like not like with the world, but your family. And I'm like, yeah, like it brings us closer. Why wouldn't I? And it's so cool to see that happens elsewhere as well, because everybody thinks I'm crazy for telling my parents things.
You're crazy. It's just not related to that.
I agree. The close relationship is good. You got to have that.
It's crazy until things.
But he has a healthy fear of me, so that's good.
That's the way it's supposed to be.
I have a healthy fear of the three, because Nana I'm afraid of too. For you,
it's
Nana.
the fingers that the nanas have. These ones.
Yes.
So I gotta say, the first time I heard Nana swear, I've never felt more scared in my life. I was like, did she just? Oh, no.
My mom doesn't really swear, so.
When her mother swears, it's a big deal. But I think that I love having her as someone that can read, because she has the highest expectation for me compared to anyone else. Your family, they don't need to hold back when it comes down to comments based off your writing, especially if one of them is a writer. It's a matter of, I'm reading this, and when I'm reading it, I don't, like, the first time I had written a scene, I gave it to her, I had gotten I can't imagine this room. I can't imagine what you're trying to say, not being descriptive enough. And now, even when I give it to her, I'm very descriptive, but it's still, we've read so much between the two of us that it's a matter of, I've read this much, and reading this scene, you did really good at describing this part, but you're forgetting this. Where I cross the line is when I start getting advice about those naughty scenes. I'm like, no. I'll Google this if I need to Google it. I need to hear it from you.
That word doesn't mean what you think it means.
The kids are calling it something different these days.
No, Mom, she's not clapping with her hands, okay?
No, she's not ordering Chinese food. They're not eating it.
You're quite lucky to have an in-house sounding board, an in-house critique. Yeah. I mean, my husband, he don't read, and if I describe something to him and I ask him advice, his answer every time is more explosions. I'm like, okay, well, the worlds I create, they don't have gunpowder, but sure, we'll figure that out. Like, I have to drive across town to my best friend's house to get some information. So, in-house, like, I'm jealous.
I love the look that some people give me whenever I try to run things by them, because at my school, there's still a few friends who are surprised at not the age of 13 or something. I had the 3 books out with her, and now at my age, I'm writing. And whenever I bring up this scene that I wrote extremely well, they just like, what do you mean? What do you need to add? What? They're giving me looks, and then they're like, just kill him. And I'm like, this isn't a scene where someone dies. This is a scene where people are very happy with each other and they use something called a bed. And then he's like, I don't get it. I don't get what's going on. He gives me the jaw drop. And I'm like, come on. I know who you are. You tell me, you give me facts, and they just don't do it. But,
well, I agree that you're super lucky to have somebody that's able to really critique you hard, but in a caring way. Because the tough thing about being a novelist is that unless you're Rebecca Jonesy, you can't. Your friends can't read a book in an hour for you and give you feedback, you know. And most of them are like, I don't really want to spend 2 weeks reading your book just to give you some advice. So it's tough to find a good, reliable critique partner like that. So that's awesome.
I think it's just tough to be an author in general, because it's, you know, you have an editor who can read your stuff and go through it and tell you what needs fixing grammar wise. When it comes down to the writing, whenever you read a novel and you don't have someone who overlooks it, it's trial and error. I mean, you bring it out into the world, see how it does. You know, you get good comments here, bad comments there. You go, okay, I need to work on this then. And the next one is almost like a second draft, even if it's the same series. It's just a matter of growing and how can I make this trial and error into something that's no longer trial and error, but trial and succeed, and move on. Like you know, any big author, J.K. Rowling, for example, she had several books before the Harry Potter series, and then Harry Potter comes out and it's a big hit. You know, it's a thing that's still talked about to this day. And it's a matter of, you know, she went through trial and error, and then she finally succeeded. And I think a lot of people misjudge that, because it's unlike any other industry. And it's something that evolves too, because it's no longer just paperback and hard copy. It's online versions, it's audio books, it's what can kids get into, and I personally love it because it's super fun hearing all the reactions from everyone. You know, even if you only have 3 people read a book, it's still a matter of, I got 3 people to read my book. They read 300 pages of what I wrote, and I know about 100 of them I was just winging. I didn't know what I was doing. But I think the novel experience is absolutely amazing when it comes down to writing and having people to read your stuff. Whether it is, you know, after it's been released, it's still something that's super effective because you take it in with you. It's no longer just that book; it's every book afterwards. You know?
Hey, Jane.
Yes.
Could you slide to your right about 3 feet and then have William Richard slide to his right about 2 feet? No, that's your left.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You want me out? I could.
Wow.
This kid's got his he's got his game down, man. I like it. He talks a good game. I like it a lot.
Yeah. You're a good kid. Oh, come on.
You did good, Jane. You did good.
Yeah, you done good, Jane.
Thank you.
Are you guys seeing all these comments about all the different types of explosions?
Yes, I am.
I guess my husband was right the whole time.
Yeah. Gastric explosions were
I will have to add a volcanic or gastric explosion to my novel.
Yeah.
Gastric, yeah, 100%.
Well, methane can explode too.
Yeah.
You know,
That someone said that one.
No one's taken explosion in a different way. They haven't gone number 2 yet, so that's good.
That's the gastric explosion.
Gastric.
Yeah.
Yep, they got it.
I'm not talking about fire.
No.
Oh.
Okay.
Light bulb.
There you go. Well, fiery explosions, but what about the ones that really affect you on a personal level?
Lovely boy.
Well,
Okay, girlfriend.
I feel like this has been good. I feel like Richard William could give us a whole seminar on his own. I
William
like it.
Richard.
Yeah.
It's William Frederick, actually.
Oh, that's even more regal.
Right? King William President, or whatever you say.
William Frederick Poole and from.
Yes, but the pool doesn't go with it.
Could you do a British accent, William Richard?
Yes.
No, you're not paying attention.
Did you?
So, Miranda and Jenna, how's it going down there?
Nope.
It's down there.
Oh, the comment section's great today.
I know.
Oh, goodness.
Well, this has been a wonderful episode today.
Yeah.
Good conversation. Good chat.
Yeah.
Well, and Heather and Emma bailed on me. They left Brooklyn Nine-Nine on, but they're long gone. Oh, yes, dead bodies actually can explode.
Yes.
That's true.
We're gonna have to have an explosive episode.
Yes.
Apparently.
I don't think so.
Jenna, you've got all sorts of stuff to work with now.
Yeah, I got ideas coming.
I know.
I like the steam one. We can work on that.
Rebecca, she is not thinking of these kind of explosions. It's a young adult book, hon.
Woo. I thought that was funny.
Oh, wait. Who are we making say? Oh, yeah. Hang on a second.
Oh no, he's
Who's saying Twitter?
Oh, King Richard William. Can you say Twitter for us
you have to say it with a British accent.
with a British accent?
Twitter.
Hey, that was pretty good.
That was good. We gotta get was it Thomas Anthony Lay? We have to get him back on.
Twitter.
Racing tweets.
He can go into.
It's got a little bit of a problem with me. I don't understand why is Twitter weird. I don't understand that.
Oh, and I just watched Kingsman last night too. So you're doing Eggsy pretty well here. I like it.
Exploding bodies, Twitter, coming. I don't understand. That's crazy to me. This is a foreign language. You Americans certainly don't hold back on what you say. It's crazy. There's no etiquette behind that. No etiquette. No properness.
King William.
Yes, I like it. King William Richard. Well, guys, we're at the end of our time already. It seems like it went really fast.
Wow, that was fast.
Good. Bye, Jenna.
Wow, we done with that.
See you later. Jenna's out. Well, thank you for everybody who jumped in on the comment section today to help Jenna out with her exploding problem. We really appreciate that.
Yes.
She's got a lot of good ideas now. Also, check out One for the Blackbird, One for the Crow. It's just amazing. Best writing I've ever read, going back to Edgar Allan Poe. So
and get Miranda O's new book.
Oh yes, and pick up Chin Up, Tits Out, Just Breathe.
Just breathe.
Just breathe.
Yeah.
Give us. Wait. Hold that cover up for us again. I want to see that.
Yeah.
That
Let's do
fat,
this.
girthy cover. Ooh,
Girth.
yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. Show us some of the pages. Yeah,
Look
give us
at-
pages.
Woo.
Oh yeah.
Right? Like it's one of those books where you can like flip around and like when you kind of abuse the book when you're reading it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's hot. I
Oh
like that.
yeah, like you can do that with this book. Like I
Nice.
want it to look like a disaster when you're done, like spilt drinks, maybe bathtub
Explosions.
water, maybe tears, sweat. I don't know.
There's some hot scenes in that, huh?
Oh yeah. There is. There is. I honestly like. If you do get a chance to read it, y'all need to just let me know how you like it because I love this bad boy and I'm very excited that it's out. So
We will definitely do that.
Congratulations, yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much for being on, Miranda. Thank you, King William Richard, for coming on. It was great to meet you.
Me too.
And to everyone else, y'all have a good night. We'll see you next week.
Bye.